So I'm going to talk about the personal AI network and how we are engineering growth for humans with AIs at Pin AI. This talk actually is going to touch on like a few points which are similar to SRAM, but from a different perspective from what we have been doing in the past a few months. Yeah. So the first question is we are talking about agentic apps and blockchain. So I want to ask the question, what are blockchain useful for in the context of AI applications, right? And it's really three things. One is, this is a bit counterintuitive right now because it's very early, but UX is actually very good in blockchains. If you want to instantiate like agentic markets, there is discovery, there is fast payments, there is permissioned deploys, as was also touched upon in the Coinbase presentation. Then the second one is trust. Differential privacy and security models. And then the third one is coordination. So you can have composable AI, you can do mechanism design to align AIs, and then governance. Yeah, and there are these two big fields emerging, so where everyone that is building is thinking, okay, what is the intersection of the two, right? There is clear synergies, and the blockchain can provide like strong properties like privacy, autonomy, and alignment for these systems. Like applications around data ownership, transparency, monetization of AI models. But we need to be, there is a big opportunity, but there is also risks. So I want to touch on those. So Sriram already touched on what are the limitations of blockchains today. Here I want to quote this seminar article from Nick Szabo. He's like the inventor of smart contracts. Bitcoin is also the inventor of smart contract platforms. So essentially, already in 1997, when he invented the concept of smart contracts, he was talking about the ideal protocol, right? He calls them God protocols, right? So the ideal protocol is there is like a God that knows everything in the middle, and users send their inputs, and then the God protocol processes them, returns to them, and no third parties learn anything, right? It's a private conversation between like the individual and the third party. And actually, if you read through, this is like a vision for a virtual computer in the cloud. Is a vision for then what became Ethereum that does not require any trust in third party to execute code. But already in this article, it shows that there is three limitations. So the first one is that this computer is very slow because it needs to like replicate compute. And you can say that in Ethereum, we solved this with rollups, kind of, almost solved it. Then the second limitation, it already shows like very early, is like, okay, there is the trade-off between privacy, fairness, and fault tolerance of like these protocols. And we are kind of solving it with ZK. And then the third limitations is the protocol is very limited in that it can only accomplish what can be specified in the code of the smart contract, which is very rigid, right? This is similar to the point that was made before. And in particular, you cannot replace any human judgment when this is needed to adjudicate some properties. So we cannot get rid of the third parties, right? And that's why there is DAOs and communities that control smart contracts, and that's why they don't work before AI, because you still need trust in these humans. Yeah, so now, maybe before switching, and let me say that the third point is not solved yet, and the way to solve this and to make like this blockchain really general is to add AI into them. So we need AI augmented protocols. What is the problem is that there is many risks, right? So there is many issues that can kill a protocol if you try to like put like some AI into it, right? So when you use these models, there is hidden model bias. There can be a large and complex attack surface. So when we write a smart contract, we formally verify it, we test it. With an AI, you cannot really do it. Like the more of complexity of an AI model is huge compared to like a smart contract. And then today is still early in AI as well, not only in crypto AI. So like there is still reliability issues, hallucinations, etc. So how do you mitigate and how you can start building like protocols that include AI? It like leverages it, but it doesn't suffer from these problems. The first one is you should focus on narrow use case or kind of split the work in multiple specialized agents. The second one is like you should simplify the core protocol mechanism as much as possible, and then just incentivize a bunch of AIs. Treat them as players in a game. Like this is what Vitalik used to like talks about a lot, and just verify their output. So like maybe one controversial take and where we're going about this is that you don't actually need to verify the entire agent. Like all those like intermediate tools, like if you are able to verify just the output that you want in an effective way. Yeah, so the way we are building an AI augmented protocol at PinAI, we are actually focusing roadmap that is kind of similar to what rollups look like. And maybe you've seen this, that like people are starting to think about, at the end of the day, this is off-chain compute, right? So it's not surprising that the roadmap looks very similar, right? So stage one, like we actually use an AI kind of embedded in the main protocol, like kind of dictates the rule of the game. But we still have humans feeding their preferences. Then stage one is like you create a small protocol that incentivizes AI, and then you add humans to like still steer it. And then stage two is kind of similar to what was referred about before as like sovereign agents, unstoppable agents. You just instantiate, you put a verifiable goal, and the AI just grows to achieve that. Yeah, so now I want to zoom in kind of the specific type of applications that we are building for at PinAI. So here we are looking at AI-mediated commerce, right? And here, the problem of like having a system that is aligned to the human owner is very big, actually, right? So think about everything you do online, like ranking algorithm on social media, recommendation on commerce and other platforms. This is all AIs that are aligned not with you, the user, but with the platform, right? And their goal is to maximize the profit from that platform, right? So we think that instead we want to flip this paradigm, right? And like as a user and as producer in these online services, we want like a system that is aligned with the user first, and we want the system to be like a neutral platform, right? So what are some requirements of this, right? As markets online switch to like AI mediated, like one is AI services should understand user preferences. The other one is AI service cannot exploit user information to extract value from them, which is what's happening today. And then the third one is like most of the value generated by participating in the system from the AI should accrue to the owner of the AI. So these are kind of the core pillars upon which we are building this personal intelligence network. So there is two main components. One is user-owned personal AI that runs locally. So it has access to personal data. We have connectors for many online services. And then there is an incentive mechanism for personal AI to grow and like improve. And then the second piece is like a network of external AI services, what people call like AI agent services, to expand the capability of your personal AI so that we can replace more complex services that cannot just be run on the edge. The way it looks like is on the user side, we are building this personal index graph. We are allowing user to reclaim their data from like all the main Web2 platforms, exploiting like recent data portability law that empower user to like get their data. Across many platforms, right? Like one question we get is like, oh, why are you doing this in blockchain, open source, like, and not like, yeah, how can you compete with Meta AI? So Meta AI has only access to your Facebook data and to your Instagram data. They don't have access to all the other services that you interact with online. And then we, on the agent side, essentially what we are building is an intent matching protocol. This is like the generalized intent, the natural language-based intent, to expand the capabilities of what your personal AI model can do for you. Yep. This is kind of more on the protocol side. I want to share more details into like this new type of protocol that we're building. So The kind of philosophy for this is humans should be at the steering wheel, and the AI is the engine that empowers you to do more things that you cannot do without powerful AI. So now in our design, we have two models. One we call the HAT model, which is like a human assessment test. So essentially, like, there is two problems when building a system when you want to like incentivize personal AI. One is that you need some sort of identification so that like the protocol is robust, cannot be farmed. And like today, the ID system, they don't really work, right? We have WorldCoin, which has like very limited scalability. And then we have other systems that they are not deterministically resistant to like bots. So what we do is essentially we use AI. We feed all the data that we have already from like the data connector that we built. And then essentially like this model which runs in a secure environment is used for proof of human, Sybil resistance, and also farming resistance in the protocol. And then the other key part, which is really the core of the system, is this God model, right? Like reminiscent of like the God protocols, right? So we call guardian of data. So essentially, this is a system that also runs in secure environment and also private environment because we are dealing with personal data, but is able to evaluate personal AIs and provide feedback for improvement. So a simple picture of how this works. So there is this God model which is instantiated in a TE in the cloud and essentially acts as a teacher to the personal AI. Like provides some question to test like how good the personal AI is, how effective it is at like handling user information, providing like automation on behalf of them. And then personal AI answers, and then the God model essentially like provides some scoring. Right now, like we have like a pretty like simple scoring rule, but we are building a learning system, so these will evolve over time. So behind the scene, what we are doing is like we are generating like these tests for personal AI that are approved by a committee of humans, right? So it's almost like as humans, we want to like build like more effective and effective personal AIs. We come up with like this test, and then essentially like this is going to simulate information requirement to like achieve real world tasks. For example, calling some API for some external agent that I will talk in the next slide. And then the requirement here is that the model evaluation should be a simple and verifiable rule. So like today is like very static, but then as the personal AI starts making actions in the real world, right? For example, like calling food ordering service, and then like completing the transaction, receiving the order, verifying it on chain, then we start having verifiable metrics. So we don't need to like manufacture like the curriculum to grow your personal AI anymore. We just have like real-time feedback on what is effective at. And then like with this strong feedback, it can evolve into a dynamic system, like, and we can do RL to improve your personal AI. So the way we are going about this, like we want to build with the product first roadmap. So we launch a web app with data connectors. Here we wanted to validate that like people that are ensure that we have a secure system, they still want to connect their data. So we have like more than 500,000 users connecting their Google data, Facebook data. We also have a native iOS and Android app coming up. And we already have integration with a few agents. So we have this Alpha Dev, which is a news, like financial news recommendation agent. We are integrating with Byte AI, which was mentioned before as well, which is a food ordering agent. And then we have like a set of agents that we build ourselves now, and we're starting to like outsource the community as well. Yeah, so we launched this mini app. We have 2.5 million users to date. We also have a community of like engaged people that are quite excited about personal AI and where we are going. And they really come from all over the world. We're doing a big launch of our native app very soon. And yeah, so if there is any researcher in the room, I want to like share like some ways that you could contribute to what we are doing. So on the research side, we are working on the reinforcement learning system for the God model. This is more kind of AI. For crypto is like verifying off-chain actions. This is still very early. Like I think Suran painted a very good vision, but this is like I think in the next 6 months is the thing. Verifiability of chain action and outcomes is the thing that we really need to make work. Yeah, it's like the biggest blocker to like real crypto agents. And then we are also building like an agent-to-agent communication protocol with differential privacy. This is because we really want like your personal AI to like be able to summon external services, but without leaking any information about you. And then on the development side, we are collaborating with various projects in the Ethereum ecosystem, such as Flashbots on access management and programmable permissions in TEs. And on the AI side, we're working on privacy-preserving RAG, and then we also have an agent SDK. Yeah, and this is all. Thank you. Please find me later if you're interested.